Okay, welcome to this video on enlargements. So in maths, enlargements isn't just when a shape gets bigger, it can actually make it smaller as well, okay? So in maths, enlargement means to change the size of something. So I'm going to kind of show you the method I certainly prefer to teach with. I think it is the one that will last you longest in terms of you can apply it to lots of different types of enlargement, which we will come to after this lesson. So I'm going to show you this one now. Right then, so the first thing we've got to consider the words that we use. So enlarge A by a scale factor of 2 with a centre of enlargement -3, 1. So here's our shape A. Scale factor tells us how many times bigger we want to make this shape, okay? So we want to make this 2 times bigger. Now, if it was going to be a smaller shape, we'd end up with fractions, so things like a half, a quarter, and so on. We will come to that at another point. For now, we're just going to look at scale factors where the shape is actually getting larger. And the centre of enlargement is -3, 1. So before I explain that, I'm just going to mark it on the diagram. So -3, 1. I'm just going to pop a little cross there. Now, what it means, the centre of enlargement tells us this is where we're starting our enlargement from. Okay. Now, to do the enlargement, we're going to always start from here, and what I'm interested in are the 4 corners of this rectangle. Okay, they're my important points on there. And I'm going to look at the column vectors. Now, we met these when we did translations, only a couple of lessons back. They're on the video as well. Have a look back if you need to remind yourself about column vectors. But we're going to look at the column vector for each corner from our centre of enlargement. Okay, so this corner here, this one here, the column vector for that from here is going to be 2 across and no movement up or down. So the column vector for that first point is 2, 0. If you remember that, the column vectors look like this, where we've got the x movement and y movement on top of each other, and there's no line in between them. Don't try and make it like a fraction. A lot of people put that line in by mistake. I even do it occasionally. I have to stop myself. Okay, it's automatic. If you've got one number on top of another, you want to put a line in between them. So just make sure you don't do that. So the column vector for this point from our centre of enlargement is 2, 0, because we moved across in the positive direction by 2 and we haven't moved anywhere on the y direction. Okay, now I'm going to do that for all 4 of my corners. I'm going to do that for all 4 of them, and you're going to see what happens. So this one here is actually going to be 1, 2, 3, 0. Okay, because that corner I've moved along by 3, so that corner I'm just going to write it down here, 3, 0. It's a funny looking bracket, isn't it? There we go. Right, the corners up here, these are a little different, okay, because we have moved in the y direction. This point here is going to be 2, 2. Okay, that's our column vector there, 2, 2. And it's because we've gone in the positive x direction by 2 and the positive y direction by 2. And this last one here, we've gone 1, 2, 3 in the positive x direction and 2 in the y. And I'm going to have to put this one over here, I've run out of space. But we get 3, 2. Okay, now you should be happy with those. We have seen that kind of thing before. So that's my 4 corners. Now, to enlarge this shape, we need to multiply all of these by scale factor 2. Now, the nice thing about multiplying vectors and column vectors is that it is as easy as it looks, okay? Don't overcomplicate it. We quite simply do 2 times this, okay? We want to multiply them all by 2. I'm just going to write it for all of them because we want to do all of them. Now, 2 times the vector 2, 0, we quite simply multiply both numbers by 2. So we get 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 0 is 0. Okay, please don't write 2. Here we are, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4, and this last one up here, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4. And you're very almost done now. These 4 new column vectors are actually the 4 points that are going to connect together to make your new shape. So I'm going to plot them, and don't forget, these aren't coordinates on the axes, okay, these aren't Cartesian coordinates, these are actually column vectors, and they're showing movement from our centre of enlargement. So we're going to go along by 4 and up by none, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that's our first point, okay, that's that one done. The second one we're going to go along by 6 and up by none, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's our second point. Done. Okay, take them off as you go. It's quite satisfying to start to get towards the end of them. And the next point, we're going to go along by 4 and up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right up at the top there. That one's done. And the last one, and I'm going to do it, but actually you might have started to spot the shape of this. Now you can see it coming together. We're going to go along by 6 and up by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they make our new shape, and this is our enlargement. Okay, I'm just going to join them together with a ruler, please. Now I'm doing this in different colour pens, quite simply because the pencil doesn't really show up on the camera very well. I would rather you were doing your drawings with a pencil and a ruler, a sharp pencil, keep it nice and accurate. If you want to obviously do your writing in pen, if you wanted to use different colours, I think actually the next one of these I do, I'm going to write my kind of final vector here in a different colour to remind me they're the ones I'm going to plot, which is fine. And don't forget, we always label our new shape with a dash. So this is a dash. Okay, that's our new shape. And just take a look at that. I mean, we wanted to make it twice bigger, and we have. Okay, it is, this side is 1 across, this side is 2. This side is 2 across. 1, 2, 3, this side is 4. Okay, so it's double, everything's been multiplied by 2. Now, the way you can check that you have enlarged it correctly from the centre, okay, there's a really nice little technique here. What we do, we join the equivalent corners to each other. Okay, so just watch me. It's a bit hard to put into words, this one. Just take a look at what I do. I'm going to connect this corner to its kind of paired corner on the original shape, so the bottom left and the bottom left, and to the centre of enlargement. Okay, I'm just going to pop a line through them, like that. Now I'm going to do the same for these corners. I'm going to do the top right, and the centre of enlargement as well. Okay, so with my ruler, nice straight line, top right and centre of enlargement. And what you should find is the more of these you do, they should all start to go in a nice straight line. Now if you can't make a straight line from the paired corners, something's not quite right and you need to double check your work. This is a really good method of checking what you've done. So here, top left corner, centre of enlargement. Okay, and then the last one is this one here. As you can probably see, there's little point in me drawing it because it goes in such a horizontal line top of the other one. I will do it though. Bottom right, centre of enlargement. Okay, so you can see, because they all go through in nice straight lines and all meet at the same point, we've done it correctly. It's a really nice way to check your centre of enlargement. Right, I'm going to do another one now. I'm going to move along to this one over here. We're going to enlarge shape B of a scale by a scale factor of 2. That's a typo, that's supposed to say 3, my mistake. Sorry folks, I wanted that to be a scale factor of 3, there we are, so I wanted just to do something slightly different. Scale factor of 3 with centre of enlargement -5, -5. So first thing we're going to do is to remind ourselves of what scale factor we're doing, and that's a scale factor of 3. It's very easy to get into rhythm. We often see a lot of 2s, so getting into the rhythm of always doubling things, whereas actually that's not always the case. And our centre of enlargement, -5, -5. So I'm going to pop a little cross at our centre of enlargement. Okay, first thing you want to do is really mark that centre. Now then, we are now going to look at the vector points at each corner. Okay, so we've got across 2 and up 2. We've got 2, 2, that's our first point, that's the bottom left. For the bottom right, we're going, and don't forget we're always going from the centre of enlargement, 1, 2, 3, and up 2. So we've got 3, 2. Top right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 3, 3. And top left, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we've got 2, 3. Now, there's no particular order either, by the way, folks, in the way I'm doing these. As long as you get all of the corners done, that's fine. Because you'll find yourself with some very unusual shapes. The more of these you do, you'll get triangles, you'll get, there's like a trapezium here, okay, you get some really bizarre shapes. So as long as you do all the corners, that's what we want to do. It doesn't really matter what order you do them in. Right then, and we're doing a scale factor of 3 this time, so I'm going to do 3 times all of these. 3 times, 3 times. Okay, do them all 3 times. And I'm actually going to use a different colour pen, just to remind myself that actually I'm kind of writing down my answers now, which are the ones I'm going to want to plot, just so they stand out. Sometimes it's nice that they just pop off the page a bit. So 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay then, now again, try not to plot these as coordinates, it's not going to work, okay? A bit of a clue on my mix up graph and grid there. Bit of a clue on my grid here is that actually it doesn't go up to 6 or 9. So that at least it's a bit of a hint that if you try and plot it like that, you've gone wrong. We're always going from here, okay, because these are vectors. So we're going to go along by 6 and up by 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my first point. Tick it off. My second point, along by 9, up by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's done. 9 and 9. Well, we already know that this is 9 across. Okay, we've just counted that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will probably notice that our last point is probably going to go here, but always worth checking. Okay, don't make an assumption, because that tends to go wrong when you start assuming things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. However, we were right. There we go. Okay, and now we're just going to join those up to make our new shape. Okay, so nice straight lines. And just join those up. And we are going to call this one B dash, because our original shape was B dash. And now we're going to go ahead and do that check. Okay, we're going to do that check. So I'm going to connect my bottom right one, bottom right point here with the bottom right here, and with the centre of enlargement. So hopefully it should make a nice straight line through all 3 of them. Now this check is particularly helpful because when we go a little bit further with this topic, what you're going to find is that we use this for something else as well. So getting into the swing of it now is going to make, when we do the next part of the topic, very helpful for you. Okay, because we are going to use this for something else. Right then, we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, so I'm going to do top left and centre of enlargement. And conveniently, you probably notice that the bottom left and top right are all in complete alignment all the way through the whole lot. So we only need to do that once, because they're all on that diagonal line. So because they all connect with each other and they all meet up at the centre of enlargement, we know we've got something right there, okay? That will allow you to check your centre of enlargement's been used correctly. Right, there are the first 2. We're going to move on to the second 2 now. I've just got 4 of these to show you. Okay, so I just had to cut it out. I'd used up all the paper on the other one. I had nowhere else to write. So, enlarge shape C by a scale factor of 2 with centre of enlargement 4, -4. So, first thing we're going to look at is just remind ourselves that we've got scale factor of 2 and our centre of enlargement, which we're going to plot straight on here for -4. Now this one's interesting because actually our centre of enlargement is on the shape. Okay, it's touching the shape, which throws people off sometimes. That's why I've included this one. So we're going to, exactly as we did before, have faith in the method. It works. Okay, even if it looks a little bit different, it will work. So I'm going to write down the vectors from my centre of enlargement. So this first point has actually got a vector of 0, 0. It hasn't gone anywhere. It is actually on the centre of enlargement, okay? But include it. We need to make sure it's on there. So the vector is 0, 0. It hasn't moved anywhere. The second point, now just watch out for these, okay? Remember, if we're going in the negative direction, which is this way, then we use a negative number, okay? So we're actually going -2 in the x direction and 0 in the y direction. It's not gone up or down, okay? And then this point up here, we've gone -2 and 1, 2, 3, +3, because that one is going in the positive y direction. We've got -2 and +3. And actually we've only got 3 points this time because it's a triangle. Now we need to multiply those by 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times. Okay, now then when we do this, we're going to get 2 multiplied by 0 is still 0, 0. Okay, don't write 2 for that one. 2 multiplied by -2 is -4. And this is where our directed number practice comes in handy. 2 multiplied by 0 is 0, and this one here gives us -4 and 6. Okay, so there are new points to plot, and remember these are still movements from our centre of enlargement. So 0, 0, our new point is actually not going to have moved, it's going to be in the same place. I'm just going to pop it on top of that one. The next one we've got -4, 0. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the negative direction, but 0 on the y-axis, it's just going to be there. Take these off. And then the last one, -4 and 6 in the y direction, positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we have done them, but yeah, it looks a bit different, doesn't it? We've not really got a really obvious shape like we did in the other ones, because it's on top of this one. That's okay, it happens a lot, okay? It might end up on top of the original shape. It doesn't mean it's wrong. So our new shape, I'm going to draw it in, connect my 3 crosses on there. That's it. And it's going to be here. Right on top of the original one. Okay, so if you can see that, it comes on across here. And we're just going to call that C dash. And we could actually, I'd say to check this with the lines, but it's really unnecessary because actually the shape already goes through those points. If you can see, the line of the larger triangle already goes through this corner and the centre of enlargement, and the same here. So doing those lines would do absolutely nothing to check it, we can already see them. Okay, there's just one more of these to try, and this one's a trapezium. Okay, let me slide this page up a little bit. In fact, look at this, saving paper, I'll put it on top of that and right on that side. Right then, enlarge shape D by scale factor of 2 with centre of enlargement 4, 3. Okay then, so factor 2, centre of enlargement 4, 3. So let's plot that one on. 4, 3, and that's going to be there. And let's go ahead and use our vectors for each of the 4 corners, okay? And again, watch out because we are going in the negative direction. We're going that way, and if it helps to remember, our x, oh actually these have got them on both sides, but generally speaking you normally only see the arrow on the positive direction. Okay. Perhaps you could picture when you used to see these, they'd normally only have like that one quadrant, wouldn't they? And go up that way and across that way. Might help just remember, or to remember that your numbers are going in the positive direction, this way and this way. Okay, whatever helps you remember. Okay then, so the first point I'm going to do is this top right corner, and that has got a vector of -1, 0, 1 this way and none up and down. This one here has got 1, 2, 3, so it's a -3, 0, and down here we've got -2, -2, because that's also going down the y-axis as well. Okay, so it's -2, -2. And this last point here we get 1, 2, 3, so -3, -2. If you don't like negative numbers, this is not the lesson for you, is it? Okay, so now we're going to multiply each of those by 2. And let's see what we get. Okay, so we get -2, 0, -6, 0, -4, -4, and -6, -4. Okay, so again, I keep saying this, but it needs to be kept on saying, sadly. Don't want you to forget. We're going to go -2. Pen's gone. There we are. Right then, so -2, so 1, 2, none up or down, so it's actually on top of this shape a little bit again. -6 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -4, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's down there, and -6, -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can perhaps just kind of visualise that. So try not to mix it up with your centre of enlargement. I've just noticed that I've done them in the same colour and they're both crosses like that. Be careful not to try and connect that in there as well. Perhaps do it in a different colour, your centre of enlargement, just so it stands out, you don't muddle it up. Okay, Here we go. Okay, so there's our new shape. And these should be similar shapes, okay? That means that they're the exact same shape. One's just bigger or smaller, okay? They've got the same angles on them, okay, to make the same shape. So just, you know, if something looks at a funny angle or something, just double check it. Because of course, if I'd accidentally connected it with this one, this would be much more sloping here. And we think, well, that doesn't look quite right. Okay, so we're just going to check it with our lines. I'm going to do a few of those just to check. So this bottom right and bottom right, centre enlargement. Okay, yeah, nice straight line. Then bottom left, bottom left. Bottom left, there we go. Oh. Can't get it lined up. There we go. Nice straight line. And then top left, and actually top rights as well, because they're all in a line anyway. I could do them as two separate things, but I'd just be drawing a line on top of itself. There we go. Right then, so yeah, they all meet up here, which is lovely. So yeah, please make sure you're doing those checks, because like I said, then they're going to come in handy, not just for this, but for the next part of this topic as well. They're going to be really, really useful for that. So make sure you're getting that practice with them now, and the next part you'll find an absolute breeze then. Okay, have fun doing those. I think you should enjoy them. I quite like doing them. It's almost a bit like doing an art lesson inside maths, isn't it? Speak to you soon.